In this lesson I will explain tarot card meanings. The swords from Ace to 10. Listen very carefully and don't forget to subscribe, like and shower, even excessive power at times, to further one's ends. But what is not clear is how those powers will be used, or what it is that you are trying to achieve. No matter what the goal, there is always great power behind the attempts to reach it, and, as such, very little can stand in the way of the energy of the Ace of Swords without being destroyed. The power of the Ace of Swords can be drawn up by anyone whose heart, mind and will are strong. However, it is up to the bearer of the sword to tap that potential and use it in a way that is beneficial for the greater good. The Ace of Swords represents a period of great insight and mental clarity. It signifies a breakthrough or an aha moment where suddenly conscious understanding and mental reasoning reach their peak, and achievement of goals suddenly becomes a lot easier. You have a new understanding of some issue that has been of concern, or, in a broader sense, a new worldview. This is a perfect time to clear away the fog that has kept you from seeing the inner truth, so that you can now cut to the heart of the matter. This is also a good time to act, and if you set your mind to accomplishing your goals, you can achieve anything you desire. The Ace of Swords highlights a new idea, inspiration, original thinking and creative vision. It represents a point at which you have a new way of thinking and the energy to go with it. You are excited to pursue new opportunities that draw upon your creative and mental abilities. The Ace of Swords also encourages you to seek out the truth of the matter and to find justice. You may be championing a cause or standing up for your rights or the rights of others. Thus sometimes, the Ace of Swords can suggest that you are prepared for battle. You have great clarity on a situation and can now argue your case with a view to come out victorious. You may have a new idea for which you are ready to fight, or you may be all fired up on an issue that you are particularly passionate about, such as human rights, the environment or your personal beliefs. This card invites you to use mental force and to use your intellect and critical reasoning. If faced with a challenging situation, you need to be ready for battle and be prepared to find the strength to overcome these challenges. The Two of Swords is a card of choice and of the difficulty of making a decision. The woman in this card is blindfolded, and this may be intentionally so, indicating that she is avoiding making a very difficult decision. Her state of calm and relaxation may be indicative that she is trying to avoid this important decision in order to bring about peace of mind. However, the decision must still be made. Therefore, the appearance of the Two of Swords indicates that you are currently being faced with a difficult decision, but you are attempting to hide from it and pretending to yourself and others that if you ignore the decision long enough, it will go away of its own accord. However, the decision will not go away simply by your willing it to depart. Your conscience will eventually force you into facing your refusal to deal directly with the situation. The Two of Swords therefore serves as a reminder that life's decisions are frequently quite difficult and raise the possibility of painful consequences. However, you must take the bull by the horns and make your decisions with your best intentions, fully aware of the possible consequences. Avoidance will ultimately lead to a greater conflict. The blindfolded woman in this card is also an indication that you lack the information you need to make the right decisions at this time. You may be missing something, such as threats or potential risks, alternative solutions, or key pieces of information. Once you are able to remove your blindfold and see the situation for what it really is, you will be in a much better position to determine your path forward. Research your options more widely, seek outside opinions and feedback, and ask yourself what you are missing here. Why is this decision so challenging to make? What extra information do you need? Given the two swords in this card are in perfect balance as they cross the front of the woman, this card reflects the need for greater balance in your intellectual life. You need to take a break from your usual way of thinking, so that you can begin to consider alternative ideas and viewpoints. You also need to be very diplomatic and weigh up the pros and cons of both options that are available to you, and to consider that there may indeed be another way around the problem. You need to compromise or let things stand as they are. The Two of Swords often represents a stalemate where there is no winner or loser. You may be at loggerheads with another person and failing to see each other's points of view. What is needed is a truce, where you either agree to disagree or you seek to understand each other's points of view before coming to a final solution. Thus, not only does this card represent potential conflict through a stalemate, it also represents making peace through a truce. Similarly, the Two of Swords can reflect indecision and being at an impasse with regards to an important matter. Again, there is only so much that you can try to put off. At some point or another, you are going to have to make a decision or have a point of view in order to get things moving again. In a reading, it may be helpful to draw a further 2 cards, either side of the Two of Swords. This will highlight what it is you are trying to balance or decide upon. This may also identify the 2 alternative solutions from which you are trying to choose. The Three of Swords represents rejection, sadness, loneliness, heartbreak, betrayal, separation and grief. Such events feel so painful because they are unexpected. However, the Three of Swords often serves as a warning sign to show when one or more of these are possible. By preparing for this difficult event, the emotional blow can be minimized or even prevented entirely. That said, pain, sorrow and grief are often a necessity in the journey of life. Without pain, there would be no challenge and no lessons learned. Pain can be a great motivator because it encourages you to surmount obstacles and ultimately learn from your mistakes. Each challenge you encounter creates that initial pain, which is inevitably turned into an opportunity to grow stronger and to change the direction of your life as a result of the lessons learned. While the pain may cloud your vision for a certain period, it will eventually allow you to see clearly and to put the past behind you. Though life seems meaningless at the time, recovery can and will occur. It takes faith, self-love, forgiveness and time. Count your blessings. The Three of Swords therefore serves as a reminder that if you can start to see pain as a learning opportunity, life will suddenly become less painful. You need to really get in touch with pain and sorrow. Challenges remain, but once they are no longer perceived as negative or bad, they lose a lot of their impact. This card is therefore encouraging you that you have the ability to conquer any pain that comes your way. Understand how the pain can help you grow. If someone has betrayed you and you do not think you can never love again, challenge that belief. Do not be surprised when your heart emerges from darkness, capable of loving even more than before. Similarly, the Three of Swords speaks of loss and difficulty, of sacrifice and broken relationships. It follows the difficult decision required in the Two of Swords, where you may be avoiding the necessity of making a tough choice. In the Three of Swords, the choice has been made, and you are now experiencing the consequences of our action. Often the choices make involve choosing one good over another, or one evil over another, and thus when you have finally made your decision, you are still left with the pain of losing the option you have not chosen. Often, however, the pain of losing something you once valued, such as a comfortable relationship in which you are no longer growing, is necessary in order to prepare you for a more fulfilling experience in the future. The Three of Swords is also about release. When you have suffered a major setback, or loss, it is a good time to have a good cry, which is all part of the cleansing process. Expressing your sadness and letting it all out will then help you to move on to better times. However, it is also important that you continue to focus on the future path ahead. There can be a risk that you may become overly absorbed in the loss and the surrounding emotions that you lose sight of the need to just let go and move on. The loss becomes your focus rather than the recovery. It is time to accept the loss and then move forward with your life. The Four of Swords shows a period of rest and recovery after a time of challenge, with the promise that, once recovered, you can and will return to the challenge. In the meantime, the Four of Swords provides a new challenge, to stay silent and inactive. This is the time build up your mental strength. Meditate and spend time in a calm atmosphere. You need to replenish your strength and spend time in spiritual thinking. You need to rest and relax. The Four of Swords is a reminder that after every crisis and before every new challenge, there is always a time of relaxation and contemplation. Constant stress and tension will break even the hardest and most resilient of people, but brief periods of rest enable you to refresh your energy, concentration and focus, ready for the next challenge. These rests should be used wisely, to heal the body and ready the mind. The Four of Swords is also a sign that you can stop worrying, put down your defenses and take a breather from the chaos around you. For the moment there is a truce and you can catch your breath without being attacked again. However, bear in mind that a truce and peace are not the same thing. The Four of Swords is a guarantee that challenges will return to your life as soon as you are ready to face them. So make the most of the stillness and quiet you have earned, but never lose sight of the fact that the battle is not yet over, and that there is still work to be done. This card suggests that now is the time to rest from some difficult times, perhaps the trauma of breakup or departure, relationship or family problems, financial and health worries, stress and conflict. Take a break. This is also not the time to make decisions, particularly when you are at your most vulnerable. The Four of Swords suggests the need for seclusion. You need seclusion to deal properly with your situation and need to experience time apart from others to gather your thoughts and feelings. Following on from the painful loss of the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords indicates your need to spend time alone to re-evaluate your life. Solitude, although often difficult to bear, is necessary for you to be able to recharge your batteries and rejuvenate your spirit. This solitary experience always bears fruit in an experience of greater inner strength and confidence. Retreat from pain, conflict and distractions, and rid yourself of stress and anxiety. Ground and recharge yourself. Look inward for a real change and meditate daily. In a practical sense, the Four of Swords is an indicator that you need to have some time out from your current circumstances, to reflect and review your progress so far. This is a good time to re-evaluate and reassess your priorities. It is almost like conducting your own post-implementation review following a major milestone or a major challenge. Create some time and space to reflect on what has worked well, what has not worked well and what you need to change for the future. Pausing for reflection after each major challenge will position you well for success in the future. The Five of Swords sees you engaging in conflict or finding yourself disagreeing with others, leading to tension and hostility. Despite thinking you have won, you may still end up the loser because you have hurt or annoyed others and have subsequently isolated yourself. You try to pick up the pieces and act as if the conflict is now in the past, but others have now lost faith in you and do not want to be around you. This might be one of those times when it feels like everyone is against you and you may lose some friends along the way. You will need to make a decision about whether your point of view is so important to you that it is okay to put your relationship with others in jeopardy, or whether you can compromise and try to see eye to eye with others. The Five of Swords can also represent conquest. If you have been aggressive in your struggles, then you will soon accomplish your objectives. However, if you have been passive, you may need to compromise on your personal interests, giving in to the wishes of the opposing force. You will feel that there are more obstacles ahead, and you will not want to face the ordeal you know you must if you are to have what you want or the way you want it. Overall, you are in for a struggle and there is more work or problems ahead than you are aware of now. Things will not go as well as they should, and you will have conflicts or clashes of will with others. Thus, the Five of Swords is a card representing ambition, but in the negative sense. Too much ambition without regard to the consequences to yourself or others results ultimately in a situation of loss for everyone. You may be represented either by the callous winner or the dejected losers. In any case, there is a negative connotation. If your focus is solely on winning your goals at any cost, you will eventually discover to your own dismay that the price of winning may not have been worth the reward. Arrogance and pride often go hand in hand with a difficult triumph such as this, and you must be careful not to think you are invincible. You have overcome a challenge, and you have the right to feel proud, but know that there will be other rivals to face and that some of them will eventually defeat you. Boasting to others that you are invincible is an invitation for someone to prove you wrong. If your victory was won through cheating or unethical conduct, beware of an attempt at vengeance. The Five of Swords can relate to a betrayal or sneak attack by someone you trust and do not suspect as your enemy. There may be an unfaithful partner or a jealous person in your life who is sabotaging you behind your back. Look to other court cards in the reading to understand who may be working against you. You must be very careful whom you trust at this point in time because you are vulnerable to attack and gossip. The Five of Swords may simply point to defeat. It shows that, despite your best efforts, you are likely to be beaten. If you allow yourself to become disillusioned after such a loss, then you are on the path to increased ruin and torment. Accept your defeat, learn from it, and then make sure that next time you succeed. Be smarter and wiser as a result of your loss. Just as they say in the reality TV show Survivor, outwit, outplay, and outlast. Alternatively, the Five of Swords can be seen from quite a different angle, that of a hollow victory. It is possible that the two defeated men in this card were really not defeated at all, they simply laid down their arms and walked away. The men either knew that they would lose, or they knew that trying to win would be a waste of energy and a pointless exercise. By choosing not to fight, they are really the winners here, because he who knows when to fight, and when not to fight, will be victorious. The advice of the Five of Swords is to pick your battles. You may be tempted to fight every conflict to ensure you get your way, to prove that you are right, or to defend yourself when you are feeling challenged or threatened by another person. However, most experts agree, choosing your battles wisely is a much better way of life than battling out every disagreement. Not only will picking your battles lead to a more peaceful existence, it is also more likely to strengthen your interpersonal relationships. The Six of Swords shows that you will need to make a regretful transition, as a likely result of the decisions you make. You know that in order to move forward, you must leave something important behind, and while you do this with some regret, you know that in the long term it is the best option for you. There are times when you will be forced to let go of something to which you have been attached, and the process of letting go is often quite challenging. However, the sadness of your loss will soon be replaced by greater clarity, bringing about a renewed acceptance of change. Do not be afraid to let go of whatever it is that is holding you in the present or the past. Instead, look to your future and choose the best option that has the greatest long-term potential. There are going to be some hard decisions and some compromises that you will need to make, but this is ultimately a rite of passage that will take you into a new phase of your life. You need to realize that you are now headed towards a much better position in life. You have endured, or are currently enduring, a difficult life transition, but as a result, you will be more able to deal with what may come. Do not dwell on the past or what you have left behind. Instead, use this as an opportunity for changing your beliefs about yourself, moving away from whom you used to be and towards whom you really want to be. Sometimes the only way to solve life's problems is to leave them behind you and go somewhere new to start over. While it may feel as though you are giving up or being a coward, escape is often the only approach left when all others have failed. The important thing now is that you chart a new course that will lead to greater happiness and joy. The Six of Swords also shows the need to draw upon a state of mental clarity, logic and objectivity in order to examine where you have been and where you are going. This mental clarity will also serve to smooth the way ahead, and make the passage from negative to positive as peaceful as possible. You can use your intuition to guide you through easy situations and call upon your impartial and analytical nature when it is needed for a more complex decision. The Six of Swords can also indicate a state of depression or the blues. You are doing your best to just get through each day as it comes, not particularly enjoying what it has to offer but not really giving up either. You may feel listless, lacking energy and motivation, and somewhat depressed. You are getting by but only just. More literally, The Six of Swords can indicate a trip across water, for example, via ferry, boat, or plane overseas. There may be some sadness in terms of who you will need to leave behind you, but you know that this trip will do you a world of good. An example might be someone who is about to travel on their own, leaving behind a partner who they will sorely miss. You may also be required to make a longer-term move from one location to another, where you will leave behind friends and family in order to explore or experience a new territory. Again, while you will miss those you leave behind, you will also find that you have an amazing time on your travels and will learn so much about yourself. The Seven of Swords is a card of deception and betrayal. It indicates the difficulty of trying to get away with something undetected and unnoticed. Often when you do something in secret, hoping that you are safe and undiscovered, something goes awry and your secret is revealed to your embarrassment. This card therefore urges caution when attempting to use cunning or deception to gain an advantage over someone or something else. There is no question that there are times in life when it is necessary to act shrewdly or do something in secret. Perhaps you had to think on your feet and act in a way that was not exactly all above board. Perhaps you had to go behind other people's backs in order to manifest your desires. Perhaps you felt like you needed to cheat or take the easy way out. If acting shrewdly is something you must do, it is essential that you do this with a clear conscience and you are fully aware of the potential consequences of your actions. Taking the easy path is not always the best path, and sometimes you just have to exert a decent amount of effort to achieve what you want. The Seven of Swords indicates that you may be tempted to sneak away from a particular situation that is not working for you anymore, rather than dealing with it head-on. As you do not feel ready to deal with the issues, you are aiming for a solution where you can just escape and not have to worry about it all. Are you trying to run away from commitment, responsibility, hard work or love? You may be procrastinating, letting problems slip and become worse because you do not want to deal with them. Sometimes you just have to face what has to be faced. So, the question is this realistic? Will this escape really accomplish what you want to and need to accomplish? Will it address the fundamental issues at hand here? The likely answer is no, and it may simply be an easy way out for now. You might think you have gotten away with something, but have you? What impact has your actions had on other people? Could someone else suspect something? Is this going to come back to bite you again? Even if you have managed to go undetected, be aware that in the long run, deception will not produce the rewards you desire and may instead cause significant damage to your relationships and reputation. Consider taking a more ethical and morally balanced approach to life from here on. On the flip side, the Seven of Swords asks you to be very cautious and wary so that you do not become a victim of someone else's deception, betrayal, cheating and false motives. You may trust someone who then turns out to be running their own agenda, leaving you high and dry. You need to be very careful of who you trust over these coming months as you are at risk of being taken advantage of. Look out for any sneaky behavior and trust your gut instinct about when something does not feel right or is too good to be true. Sometimes, the Seven of Swords indicates a desire to go it alone. You want to discover, investigate and solve every problem using only your own wits and resources. You may believe that you have a better chance at success if you act on your own accord, ignoring the advice or inputs of others. This approach is useful when you need to bypass an ineffectual group or assert your independence, but it can also have its limitations. You may end up feeling isolated and excluded, missing that great feeling of collaboration and synergy gained when you work with others. If you feel inclined to act alone, be sure this isolation will really work for you. The Eight of Swords reflects that you feel trapped by your own thoughts and perspectives. The woman in this card is blindfolded and bound, trapping her into thinking that she has no way out. However, if only she could remove the blindfold and change her thinking, she would see that she does indeed have options. So, the Eight of Swords suggests that you need to look at a difficult situation from a new angle. Draw upon your intellectual self and your emotional self to determine the best path forward, one that avoids any possible victimization or restriction. The Eight of Swords is often a sign that it is best not to make any important decisions at this point because your thinking has been limited and constrained by self-imposed boundaries. You are struggling to see a situation for what it is and have been led to believe certain things that may or may not be true. There are choices available, but first you must be within the right mindset to know which option to choose. This means releasing the bindings and the blindfold to see the situation from a different, less imposing angle. There may also be too many ideas running through your head, thus it is best to wait until you feel more secure and certain about a situation before making important decisions and taking action. The woman in the Eight of Swords is often seen as powerless. She has surrendered her power to an unknown entity, thus rendering herself completely powerless. She has become the victim and is now waiting to be rescued. If you see part of this woman in yourself, then it is imperative you take back your power and personal accountability and open your eyes to the options that lie in front of you. The fact is that you do have options, even if you do not like those options. This is fine, so long as you accept that you do indeed have options and you do not have to be the victim here. The Eight of Swords portrays a dilemma whereby you are faced with the difficulty of a painful decision and you are at an impasse, uncertain of which way to go. However, what you may not realize is that the decision in the Eight is the result of our own actions. Despite the fact that you have boxed yourself into a corner, there is a way out. The solution is simply to deal with the situation in the most direct yet tactful manner possible, and face your choice with inner strength. It is time to be honest with yourself and others in order to be free of the burden of fear or guilt that is implied with the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords can indicate that your interests will be opposed by other people, and this may create restrictions to what it is you want to achieve. Take back your power and realize that you have options whether others oppose you or not. You do not have to be constrained by their way of thinking or their rules. The Nine of Swords is the card of fear and nightmares, and has an apparently negative feel to it. However, the troubles alluded to in the Nine of Swords are primarily of a psychological nature and do not necessarily indicate suffering in your external reality. That is, it is what is inside your mind that is creating the fear and anxiety, not your actual circumstances. Your experience of the world is greatly influenced by our expectations, desires, and fears, and therefore you are largely the creator of your own world, and your attitudes determine how you experience that world. The Nine of Swords can also reflect fear of the future, or what may possibly happen in the future. If you allow yourself to be bound by fear of the future, you are at risk of eventually creating a negative reality for yourself by virtue of your expectations. Your nightmare becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy, which is clearly not a desirable outcome. Generally, this card is an indication that you are worrying excessively about a situation. You are literally being kept up at night because you are so anxious about a particular issue. It is possible you are working yourself up unnecessarily and, if you were to look at the situation more objectively, you may come to realize that it is not as bad as you are making it out to be. In fact, all that worry and despair is what is making it worse, so rather than fretting about it, do something to change it. Although most people experience fear, frustration and uncertainty at some point in their lives, you should not allow those negative emotions to immobilize you or keep you from pursuing your goals with enthusiasm and hope. Expect at least some level of uncertainty in the future, and draw upon your inner strength to remain as flexible and adaptable to that uncertainty as possible. The Nine of Swords can also indicate that you are being incredibly hard on yourself, putting yourself down or engaging in negative self-talk. For every mistake you make, you blame yourself and become worked up and angry at yourself for messing up again. So, when the Nine of Swords appears in a reading, ask yourself why you are being so hard on yourself. How are you putting yourself down, or what is the source of your depression? What can you do to make yourself feel better? You may need to make a more conscious effort to quit the negative self-talk and replace it with positive reinforcement for a job well done. The Ten of Swords usually symbolizes a sudden and unexpected failure or disaster, whereby a power beyond your control crushes you without warning or mercy. Sometimes you will be able to alter the course of this impending disaster, but most of the time you will simply have to let go and take the hit. This card can also indicate a time when you have been backstabbed or betrayed by someone you thought you could trust. You feel incredibly hurt and shocked by such a betrayal. As such, the Ten of Swords is often associated with feeling the victim in a situation. You may feel powerless as something comes to a crashing and sudden end, and you feel as if you are being attacked or backstabbed by someone else. You crave pity from others with a small sigh of, "Poor me." You may even use this challenging time to portray yourself as a martyr, to show that you have put your interests last but have suffered as a result. The Ten of Swords also indicates a difficult experience of endings, loss, pain or release. However, the saving grace is that you have a new awareness and a positive sense of relief that the difficulty and pain will soon be over and will evolve into something new. As with all endings, there will be a new beginning, a rebirth, and a rejuvenation of the spirit. So, while this card may seem negative at first glance, it is a card of hope and an indication that your troubles will not be permanent. Furthermore, this is the final ordeal, and no more pain will come to you from that source. It is darkest before the dawn, and as gloomy as it looks, the sun will rise again. It can only get better from here. The Ten of Swords is about letting go and accepting your current circumstances. You no longer resist change but allow it to happen, even if it causes some initial pain and hurt to you. You accept that there must be change in order to facilitate renewal, and you allow it to occur rather than fighting it. When this card appears after a painful situation, it is a signal to pick yourself up off the ground and to reflect upon what happened to you and why, and what you can learn from the experience. Hidden deep beneath the surface of the Ten of Swords is the ultimate power of the sword suit, the ability to analyze the situation and your responses, and learn from yourself. True wisdom does not come from without but from within. The Ten of Swords is a sign that the pain and hurt you have endured has not gone without purpose. The positive power within you can be used to learn from your pain and draw wisdom from defeat. It is worth noting that the Ten of Swords is very similar to the Death card of the major arcana. It is not a literal indication of actual death but is instead evidence of an impending change or ending which may initially be difficult to. In this lesson I will explain